All right. What is going on, everybody? Everybody tuning in. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Obviously, I'm not doing this by myself today. I have a very special guest, uh, Morgan Smetzler. Now, I said
Mhm.
that right,
You
correct?
did, yes.
Um, Previously, as of what, like eight? No, not 8 days ago. It was longer than that. It was like 2 weeks ago.
18 days ago. Yep.
18 days ago. Previously Morgan Wellborn, but now Morgan Smetzler. She just had her wedding, which sound like or looked like it was a lot of fun. Like
Mhm.
how was the wedding overall? Like how
It was amazing. It was perfect. There was really nothing that went wrong that I can remember. So if it did go wrong, it doesn't even matter. But it was a beautiful day, perfect day.
yeah, was it was an inside wedding, right?
Yeah, it was in a Catholic church, not a Catholic service, but in a Catholic church and then um a reception hall in Huron.
Gotcha. So that's kind of nice because you didn't have to worry about like the weather, being necessarily
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, Chad has a history of big life events. It rains. So it was a beautiful day. So it could have been outside, but we planned for the worst. So
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. How warm was it on that day? Was it like feeling like fallish? Because I know we've had a couple of those days the past couple
it
weeks.
was it was warm, but there were like fall colors for the pictures. So I think it was in like the low 70s. It was a nice day.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. I remember our wedding. It was like I think like 85 or close to 90. Ours was like in the mid July. Our wedding, so it was
Oh,
yeah, it was kind of awful taking
oh.
pictures outside, but we made it work. So
Mhm.
um, but yeah, so she just had her wedding a couple weeks ago, and Morgan and I have been working together for the past like 2 years. Actually, tomorrow, or I guess October 19th, which will be the day you guys will be watching this, will be exactly 2 years since like you started on day one. I went back and looked, which is crazy to think about. Um, like you've made so much progress over these past 2 years, which we'll dive into. Um, uh, but it's just crazy, like how like watching you on this journey and how you've grown, how you've transformed both on the inside and out. So I'm really excited to just talk with you about your journey, where you were before you joined, how things went, as you were in the program, things that surprised you, and just kind of share your story. So uh, tell everyone a little bit about Morgan, like a little bit about yourself. Yeah, we're getting into the nitty gritty here. Tell them just like do you have any pets? I know you do, but they might not know. Do you have
Yes,
any
I
pets?
have two cats, Millie and Molly. They might make an appearance in the video. And then we actually are adopting a puppy in 2 weeks.
So
So
exciting.
Marley.
Did you guys pick up a name? Did you just say the name?
I did. Yes, it's gonna be Marley. So we'll have Millie, Molly, and Marley.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Um, cool. So what do you do for a living too? Like tell everyone that.
I am a cath lab nurse, so people who have heart attacks or need stents in their heart, I work in the procedure area for that.
Gotcha. And what is your schedule typically like, on a daily or weekly basis?
We do 4 10s a week with one night of call a week and then one weekend every 4 weeks.
Gotcha. So pretty busy overall, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in very long days, like when you do work, like working, 10 hours and then also like getting called in sometimes too.
Mhm.
Um, so take us back, and I know it might be hard to think back, but like 2 years ago, where were you at before you joined the program, before you even inquired? Like, I think it was, if I remember correctly, like was it a free week, like a free 3 week promo of coaching that I did, or was it like a Black Friday deal? Do you remember like when you signed on?
It was a um like enter to win 3 free weeks. And I it was like it was getting cooler, so it was about this time and I was trying to put my jeans on and they weren't fitting and I was frustrated. I had gained a little bit of happy relationship weight. Um, but also we were long distance, so it was some sad eating. Um, and yeah, it was the jeans. I remember putting the jeans on and having to go buy bigger jeans, and I was like, I don't want to do this. um, I My mom was a personal trainer. She still is a personal trainer, so I kind of knew how to work out, but not really, like not like putting together a workout. I would just kind of go and just do whatever, like decide what I was doing that day when I got there. Um, Definitely was like yo-yo eating. Like some days would be like, I didn't track, but it would probably have been like 1100 calories. Other days were probably like 2500 calorie days, with definitely not enough protein either way. Um, but that's kind of where I was before we started working together.
Yeah. So gain some weight, good weight, and then maybe some like or weight from good circumstances, right? Happy relationship weight, like you mentioned, and then some weight from just like, the stress of being long distance, which I totally get. Um, so was this something that maybe you struggled with even before then at all, like throughout the rest of your life? Or like did it just start to surface as far as like the need or wanting to lose weight like at that time period? Like did you have any other history of like going on diets or wanting to do this kind of stuff?
I was pretty conscious of going to the gym during college. Like I was involved in a lot of intramural sports, I guess. So maybe not so much like going to the gym and doing my own workout, but I was going and playing soccer or going and playing volleyball. So I was pretty active through college. And I feel like I probably didn't eat enough in college. Like looking at now what I know, I definitely was not eating enough calories, but it wasn't um a conscious effort where I was like, I need to go to the gym. It was more, I'm gonna go play, do this and have fun and do this. So when college was over and I didn't really have that like that structure of going and doing team kind of stuff, I just kind of like would go every now and then or when I felt like it, or go for a couple weeks here and a couple weeks there and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I find a lot of former athletes like end up really struggling with that because they have like all this structure with like having a coach in high school or even college or having even just like the friend group or the support from their other teammates, like doing
Mhm.
that kind of stuff on a regular basis. And then like if that ends, then you're kind of left out on your own and you almost like maybe even struggle to find like what's the purpose in going to the gym because you're not getting that like positive reinforcement from that like team aspect, I
Mhm.
guess. Um, so it sounds like this was the first time where you kind of like struggled with like, oh, like I don't fit in my clothes, like I
Mhm.
want to or need to lose weight.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. So when that happened, that moment, did you try to do anything on your own first? Like try to
Mhm.
like track your calories or cut carbs or this or that? Or like tell me a little bit about or tell everyone else about that.
So I remember like scrolling through Instagram and like looking at different trainers on Instagram or like influencers on Instagram who were like posting what they do and stuff. And I saw people who were like, you got to eat more. And so I started eating more, but it wasn't like good nutrient dense food that I was eating. I was just eating more. Um, and like I said, I would try and go to the gym and like I'd go on a Monday and like every day was a full body workout of something totally different every day. I didn't have any kind of structure in the gym. Um, Definitely not enough steps. Just kind of like going and like it was like I was free balling it every time I went to the gym.
Yeah. So um how long did you try that for? Like before you ended up taking advantage of the free 3 weeks of coaching?
Probably like a month or so. Because I know I had already followed you on Instagram, I think from high school, and then saw like stuff that you had posted through college and through your master's program and stuff about being like a registered dietitian and that kind of thing. Um, excuse me. So I think when I saw that you were doing these free 3 weeks, I was kind of like, oh, maybe we'll try it. Maybe I'll like I can get something out of it in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were trying kind of like almost random workouts on your own for about
Mhm.
a month or so. not really seeing any progress, it sounds like.
Nope.
And then nutrition wise, what were you doing during that time period, if anything, like those 4 weeks as you were like changing your workouts up trying to do that? Did you do anything nutrition wise at all?
I tried like fruit protein shakes, like I'd make my own. Excuse me. That's the only thing I can really think of that I changed because I it's something like I said I saw from an influencer and but other than that, I just kind of ate how I normally ate.
Yeah, so it sounds like why didn't you try anything else nutrition wise or even try tracking your calories? Is it just because you just didn't know where to start? Like you didn't know what to implement?
Didn't know where to start, didn't know what to try, didn't really want to try anything because I like to eat. um I was just kind of hoping that whatever random stuff I was doing in the gym would help, and it didn't.
Yeah. So trying random workouts. It sounds like you probably were a little bit more conscious with what you were eating, with trying to prioritize protein a little bit more here and there, but didn't have like even a structured nutrition plan of like, okay, this is how much I'm going to eat specifically. This is how I'm going to make adjustments. None of that, it sounds like.
Nope.
Um, so when you took advantage of these 3 weeks, like what made you decide to do it other than obviously it was like free, right? A free opportunity to like, make some progress and maybe see how things work. But um like, was there anything specifically that I posted about at the time, or maybe a certain transformation you saw that like it's like, okay, like I think this guy, this Joey guy can actually really help me.
I It was so long ago. I don't think I remember anything specifically other than I remember I saw it on an Instagram story and I saw it like multiple times in a row. And I was kind of like, I might as well just try it. Like what is the harm in trying to win 3 free weeks? Like what could go wrong?
Yeah. And obviously a lot went right. You won and here we are now 2 years later. Um,
Hmm.
but so tell me like in those 3 weeks, because obviously you just got 3 weeks for free. Like I've been coaching you for free for the past 2 years. So what over the 3 week period made you want to like commit and actually like sign on and do this long term, or at least at that time period commit to? I think it was a 6 month minimum commitment that I had at that time.
Hmm. I remember how good I felt even just after like 3 weeks of having structured workouts. Because I think it was the first week you track what you normally eat. Um, and I think I was actually eating enough that I didn't have to like go up and then go like we went right into a fat loss phase because I was
Hmm.
already eating so much. But I liked the idea of the structured workouts and having someone to like report to, someone that's keeping me accountable. And I remember talking to my mom about it, and like we were talking about the price and stuff like that. And I was like, it's not like I'm purchasing something, I'm like investing in myself because this is stuff that I can learn and I can take with me. It's not something that's gonna like disappear.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's like one of the big things that people don't really realize is how good you can feel on an actual structured workout
Mhm.
plan that actually has like built-in progression, and you're not just doing random workouts week to week.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people out there who are just like probably what you were doing in that month, grabbing random workouts from random like fitness influencers. And I know like there was a big thing. I feel like it's not as big now, but it still is out there of like these big fitness influencers just posting like their workout for the day and like, okay, here are the 8 exercises or whatever I did on this day, the rep ranges, and like people just see that and just literally like screenshot it and follow it. But they're
Yeah, that's what I was
constantly,
doing.
yeah, and they're constantly changing things every week, which doesn't give you enough time, like your body enough time to learn the movement so you can actually like progress in it. And it's when like you actually do the same exercises week after week and progress in those is where you actually see like the physical changes, the muscle growth, and everything. Or else you're just going to the gym and burning some calories, but like you're missing out on all of those actual like muscle building benefits of the workouts.
Yeah.
Um, so it sounds like the accountability part, obviously, you really liked in those 3 weeks. And you thought of this as an investment, which is huge because, like you said, this is stuff that you could take with you forever, all this information and everything. What would you say, like, really surprised you? Like, once you were in the program, like, more long term and you were in it for the first 6 months, was there anything that, like, stuck out that surprised you or, maybe you didn't really expect would either happen or would it be this way or
I think like how fast my body changed or like how different I felt. Um, Besides like just the scale going down, like how different like my body actually looked.
yeah, so what, like, specific changes do you think you saw first, like, in your body composition?
I feel like it was my legs. My legs started to get more tone. And I've always had kind of like an athletic build. And so to see muscle starting to come through again, like I used to in high school, like I don't even know if I had this much muscle in high school, but to see that come through, it's exciting and you like it's kind of addicting to see your muscles continue to grow like that, especially in my arm because I've always had little noodle arms. So um to see the progression of just the muscle building was exciting for me.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say legs because I think we had a couple of jokes back and forth of, like, calling you, like, Quadzilla or something like
Godzilla,
that
yep.
because, because your quads really came out when you
They
started, and
grew.
yeah, and I feel like you had, like, some mental breakthroughs too along the way. I think some were like just getting more comfortable in the gym. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you kind of transitioned from, um, like, and there's nothing wrong with because you started working out at Planet Fitness, right? When you
No, I worked
or
out. It was a smaller gym in Huron. Shout out to the Huron Health Club if anyone is in here. But just a smaller gym with not there's it's never really super busy unless you go at night. But yeah, I was working out at a gym like a smaller gym like that, and then we moved to Columbus, or I moved to Columbus, and I joined more of like a powerlifting gym, which is definitely a lot more intimidating than what I was doing before. So to get comfortable, taking up space at a gym like that where you've got people practicing their not body or their bikini poses and stuff like that in their heels and their bikinis and guys like really puffing out their lats and stuff. Um like that's intimidating to start there. But yeah, now I can go and I like I said, I take up my space and I film myself when I'm doing my reps and stuff. And yeah, I've really kind of like grown into that space here in this bigger gym.
yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it wasn't Planet Fitness, but it was like a more smaller, not as gym rat if that's a word, gym ratty ish gym, you know, and kind of evolving to that. And I remember like that being, I felt like it was a pretty big moment for you, like being able to feel comfortable in that type of environment with those types of people. Especially, like you guys shouldn't feel this way, but I know like a lot of times women don't want to take up that space because they're like, oh, like, especially like things like squat racks, deadlift platforms, whatever it is, like, oh, I'm maybe putting on lighter weight than what this, 200, 300 pound guy can put on. I feel like I shouldn't be doing that. But it's like you said, you deserve that space just as much as they do. And I think it pushes you out of your comfort zone too and pushes you to almost like strive to be better and take it more seriously too. Did you feel that way? Like just being in that environment with those people who take it more seriously, you started to take your goals a little bit more seriously too?
Mhm. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Like seeing other people and how like they've shredded their body like to do these competitions and stuff. It's like, wow, like that's really cool. I want to look like that.
Yeah. And I think you start to kind of hold yourself to like a higher standard too. It's like one of the best things you can do is put yourself in a room with people who are maybe like a few steps above you or maybe even multiple steps above you because then if everyone around you like is super consistent with the gym, they train really hard, they're pushing themselves, you're going to feel like the oddball out not doing that. And it's like a good nudge for you to start pushing yourself with your lifts more and pushing yourself to be more consistent too and showing up more. Um, like my gym that I go to, there's a lot of really strong people there, and it makes me like want to push myself more. And if I'm in the gym and I see like all these people progressing, I'm like, okay, like I want to just like maintain that level of progression that they're having too. And I don't know, I think it just pushes you. So like any opportunity you have to step out of your comfort zone and be around people who are a little bit above you or farther ahead and or where you want to be, I think it overall helps.
Yeah, definitely.
Um so we've went through like a ton of different phases together over these past 2 years. Like you talked about, we started with a fat loss phase, did multiple diet breaks and stuff in between. We even went through like a building phase last kind of fall or winter. So tell me, like, was there anything that you found surprising about, let's say, like the first bulk of the fat loss phase before we even went into like the building phase last fall or winter? Like anything that surprised you, anything that you felt like worked really well along that way that helped you to stay consistent or helped that fat loss process not seem as hard or
Um, I guess this is where like the Instagram influencers like are can be good is all the different low calorie, high protein meals that they post on TikTok and Instagram Reels and even Facebook. Um, just to give because I like to eat and I like flavor in my food. So trying to make healthier meals taste good can sometimes be hard, but there's so many resources out there now that make it a lot easier. Like now that I have go into higher calories, sometimes it's actually hard for me to like hit the higher calorie goal because like I already have hit all of my nutrition goals with lower stuff because I'm eating stuff that I want to eat.
yeah, I think one of the most helpful things that I experienced like years back was when like YouTube was big and in like the fitness realm, and this was like 20 probably like 2015, 2016 when it was like really big, was people posting like their full day of eatings on
Hmm.
YouTube. And like people still do that now on TikTok and stuff now, but I didn't follow them exactly, but it just gave me so many really good ideas of
Ideas, yeah.
foods to eat, snacks to eat. Oh, like I can have yogurt with rice cakes, and that's like a really nice high protein but like sweet snack. Like that's became one of my staples that I've eaten for years now.
Yeah.
um so all that stuff really helped. Was it surprising like doing like diet breaks and how often we kind of brought calories up to maintenance along the way throughout the fat loss phase? Was that something you expected or um maybe enjoyed, or was it
Oh,
difficult to take those breaks or
I love me a diet break, but like I said, sometimes it would be harder to like I would eat what I would eat when I was in a fat loss phase and maybe eat like just a little bit more, but not quite enough to be out of the fat loss phase. Um, and I remember asking you, like, I don't know what else to do. How do I get my calories to be higher? And so that was surprising. How often they were implemented. Like if I said like I'm really feeling sluggish this week and I have really low energy, I can't focus, my lifts aren't good, and then you just be like, okay, well we'll go ahead and we'll do a diet break. And I think when specifically before like crunch time for the wedding, when I was like lower days and then to have one high day, that actually made me feel a lot better too. Like just to have that one random high, not random, but one high day and 6 low days. That it surprised me how well that made me feel too.
yeah, yeah, and those are all strategies to kind of like bring bring your energy levels up temporarily, because like no matter how modest you try to keep your calorie deficit or your fat loss phase, like how less extreme you take it over time, being in a calorie deficit, losing body fat will start to like take a little bit of a toll on those things of your energy levels, your fatigue, even like mental focus, performance in the gym. So you're going to have those negative adaptations no matter what, depending on how long you stay in that phase. So using those diet breaks are so helpful for kind of almost like resetting those negative adaptations, like getting your energy levels up, fatigue up, focus up, gym performance back up again. So you can implement those, but then also what we did with you, like on this last fat loss phases, which I think worked really well for you,
Mhm.
was having those like having like one high day, and maybe even something that could be really beneficial for you in the future too is having like two high days back to back to kind
Mhm.
of reset that in the middle of the week. So you can kind of like reset those negative adaptations, every couple of months. Or if you are like really pushing it, maybe bringing calories lower than what you kind of want, but you have a timeline to meet or something, you can have those high days a little bit more often, like once a week or a couple times a week, and help kind of reset it along the way too.
Mhm.
Um, so tell me about like the how you felt during the building phase that we did like last fall or winter, because this is one of the hardest things for people to work through, especially the women that I work with, is when they want to put on more muscle, and like they have to go into this building phase in order to do so because they're already pretty experienced with lifting and everything, and they have to deal with eating more food for an extended period of time, seeing maybe their body weight kind of trend up a little bit. How did you work through that? Was it a struggle for you? Did you have a lot of issues like mentally, like, body dysmorphia, or just like feeling like, oh, I'm uncomfortable a little bit because I'm eating so much? How did you work through that?
I remember again with the jeans, putting jeans on, and they were tighter than they were, the last time I had worn them, and thinking, like, here we go again. I'm tighten my jeans. We got to do something. And then, um, really, like when I started to think about it, the tightness was more in my thighs, in not so much my waist, and just kind of trying to, remind myself that we're gonna see what's underneath all this eventually, and just kind of push that way. Um, oh man, sorry. The As far as eating more, just planning ahead is really what helps me to hit goals, and like even like looking at restaurants before we go and thinking, picking like, okay, I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna put it in my fitness pal now, so it's already in there, and I can structure the rest of my food around that. Um, but what like I said, it at first it is hard to try and eat higher after you've been eating lower.
Yeah, and I think you said something really important in there, was just how like your clothes started to fit a little bit tighter in some areas. But if you're doing it the right way, like gaining, slowly gaining some weight at the right pace, you're, eating the right foods, getting enough protein, training really hard in the gym, the the areas that you're going to grow are likely for the most part going to be areas that you actually want to grow, right? Like your glutes or your quads or those areas. And it might make your overall clothes feel a little bit tighter, but it's getting tighter in like good areas that you probably want. But it is a mental battle to not let that affect you, especially if like you get to a point where maybe like you have to change the size of something that you wear, or maybe you have a belt and like you wear it like one notch bigger or something. Or I find a big one is like t-shirts, like maybe people feeling like their arms are hugging, or their t-shirts hugging their arms a little bit more than what it was before. And working through those mental struggles can be really difficult depending on the person. I feel like you handled it really well. Like, I don't remember there being a ton of conversations you and I had back and forth about dealing with like we
Yeah.
definitely did have some, but um so curious, like if that slow gain in weight that we had over that time period, was it like psychologically hard to deal with that? How did you kind of keep yourself grounded and not let it affect you or throw you off as much?
It did, to watch it kind of during the building, it kind of went up slowly though. So
Hmm.
it wasn't like I was jumping 4 or 5 pounds in like 2 days or something like that. But I think just like the reassurance from you, like, okay, we've seen this much weight gain this week. This, like, that's good. It's like, it's good. It's okay. This
Uh,
is what we want. That was really helpful. Um, and then it kind of made me more excited for when I was going to go back into another fat loss just to see where we could get.
Yeah. And I think obviously you had like some of your best workouts and some of your best lifts during those months too of just eating so much more, getting so much stronger. Like I think you hit some pretty nice PRs, especially on squats, I think, over that time period.
They were okay. It's
I
okay.
think I think they were pretty nice. I at least compared to where you were before, right? And it's all
Oh
relative.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
it's all relative based on where you were, but you really I think you learn like how much your body can really perform too when you spend an extended period of time eating more when like recovery is really on point because you're getting all these nutrients in, your sleep is so much better. I think a lot of times people are like chronically eating a little bit under than what they actually need and exercising and like they're wondering why they're not seeing like their lifts go up in the gym or they're wondering why they're not really seeing any more muscle growth or muscle tone. They're just kind of like maintaining it. It's because like you're not having these periods where recovery is really maximized to make the most out of it.
Right.
Um, so we went through first fat loss phase. And I'm trying to remember, I feel like that first fat loss phase, we lost around like 15-ish pounds or so, I think. Close to it. I think it was between 10 and 15.
Is this before this like before we did any diet break?
Well, no, this is just like that kind of longer period before we did the building phase. I think
I think I actually it was closer to like 20 because I made it down into the yeah, I think it was closer to 20 and then we went back up.
okay, so then we went back up, put on some, weight for muscle growth and everything, and then we entered another fat loss phase. And then I think the lowest you got exactly from like your start date to like this past fat loss phase before your wedding, your big day obviously was I think like 20 pounds too. So
Mhm. Yeah.
um tell me how like what kinds of things changed as far as like clothes you felt comfortable wearing over this time period from when you started to like when you were in like the thick of this like most recent fat loss phase or even like the first fat loss phase because I think there were some things that you would like put in your check-in form. Oh, I wore this to the gym and I haven't worn this in forever or something. So kind of tell us about that.
So definitely got more comfortable working out in more like tank top, crop top, sports bra type of situation. But the main thing was when I was trying on wedding dresses and I never pictured myself in the like mermaid type dress that I picked. And I always pictured myself in something flowier. And I never thought that that's what my body would look good in was this mermaid dress. And that's actually why I think I extended for so much longer is because I was like, I gotta look good in this wedding dress. um, but yeah, I would not have picked the dress that I picked had I not been going through this program.
Yeah, and I remember you putting like in your check-in form that you found the dress and like you were so happy about how you looked in that and everything. And I know that was obviously like a big motivator for like continuing on and working for 2 years because you had this like end date. Like I really want to like feel and look my best for my wedding day. Um, uh, so that was just really cool to like watch and experience and see you feel more confident in the gym and like the crop tops and sports bras and stuff, but then also to like feel really good in that style of dress that, like you said, was something that you never really would have pictured.
Mm.
So what made you decide to try it on then if like never thought you'd be able to feel that way? Is it just because you were feeling so good in that moment that you're like, hey, like let's see what it looks like?
Yeah, and like when the shop that I went to, they have you like go around and like you pick what you like, and then whoever the stylist or whoever is helping you, they'll pick stuff, and they say they even make you like try on stuff that you say you don't want to try on, just so that you can try it on and know that's not what you want. Um, I don't remember if I picked it or if the stylist picked it. But I remember putting it on and I was like, oh, like this keep going. Sorry.
No, it's
Like
fine.
this is the dress. And then every dress after that, I was comparing it to that dress.
Yeah. So kind of when was it when you picked the dress? How long ago was it? Like before the wedding date?
It was almost a year ago. I think it was a year ago, like this coming weekend. So I was in more of the bulking at that point.
Gotcha. And you were like pretty in the like beginning stages of kind of that building phase then,
Yeah,
even then. Uh so you really put a lot of trust in me to help you like go through that building phase, trusting that I'd be
did.
able to get you out of that, and go back into the fat loss stage after that. Um uh so tell me like what out of this process, or these past 2 years, what are some things that you feel like you gained from this, or like maybe knowledge you gained or experience that like you feel like is really valuable to you that you would, obviously take, forward on?
I guess how I structure my meals. Like I don't think I'll ever be able to eat a meal again without some kind of protein in it. Like that is the first thing that I look for when I go to a restaurant, when I'm planning for the week, um, getting everything situated. It's like, what protein am I having for breakfast? What protein am I having for lunch? What protein are we having for dinner? Um, Also just like the idea of prepping meals and having stuff ready, or at least having an idea of what I want to eat. Like I used to never pack my lunches for work. Now I've got breakfast, lunch, snack every day for work. um and then just like with like getting myself to go to the gym, and after a long day at work where it's like I could just go home, like it's been a long day. I've got a long day tomorrow. Just the mindset that like, no, you're gonna go and you're gonna get this done and you're gonna feel good afterwards. And like that's how I've been feeling this past week since I'm technically done. But just to like make myself like it's on me. I don't have anyone else who's holding me accountable anymore. I gotta go and do it.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like overall in general, like so many of these behaviors or habits or things that we've been prioritizing and like working on over these past few years, now it's just like a part of you. It's a part of your lifestyle. It's a part of, what you do on a day-to-day basis. And it's, you know, we always obviously like have some days where, we don't feel like doing what we need to do, but it's like your baseline now. Like you probably some days you're just on autopilot and automatically get your stuff ready and go to the gym. Like you don't
Yep.
even have to like think about it or like, build yourself up to go. It's just kind of what you do. Or same thing like with the protein and the meals. Like it's crazy how many meals people have and how many meals even I had before I started learning about nutrition that maybe had zero protein in it or like 1 or 2 grams. Like I would have a whole meal of just carbs and fats. And now it's like feels crazy to think about that, like
Right.
not having a balanced meal. So it sounds like that's kind of where you're at, where all of this stuff has become like really a lifestyle for you, which has been, really, really cool to see. And um obviously like I think we mentioned this maybe like once or twice in here, but this like you are moving on your own after like this was your last week, so
Mhm.
like you feel confident and able to like go and do this on your own now, which is um obviously bittersweet because it's been awesome being able to work with you over these past 2 years. But it's what I want out of all my clients eventually is for them to feel confident and able to like do it on their own after, which it sounds like that's like where you're at now.
Mhm. Yep. I've graduated.
I wish I had like little certificates or diplomas to hand out. Um, so kind of, I guess, a couple of last questions. Any any other areas that you feel like just doing this and like, losing these kind of 20 pounds that you've roughly lost, how it's maybe like positively impacted, your life or your lifestyle or how you feel?
Definitely like more active, like going on walks to get steps, but it's also you're going outside, you're getting fresh air, that kind of thing. Um, Having that dedication, like when you're lacking the motivation to meal prep or to go to the gym, you have this dedication. I don't know if that's the word I want to use, but I'm going to use yeah, dedication.
Discipline.
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 There it
There
is.
it is.
Discipline. You have that discipline. Um, that's that's what's keeping you going when you don't have the motivation. So definitely I have gained this discipline to keep things going.
Yeah, and I think that like discipline that you've built up, uh I think I don't know if you've noticed it directly yet, but I'm sure you will, that like it'll transfer to other parts of your life too. Like if there's other things you need to get done, whether it's for work or just things around the house or this or that and other areas in life. At least I've seen that in myself and with a lot of other clients is like when they accomplish something in their fitness journey, that takes a lot of hard work and discipline and consistency, you end up being able to like trust in the process and other things too and work really hard at other things for a long period of time and also like learn the power of being able to like delay gratification and work on something very hard for a long period of time without seeing the payoff for a long period of time.
Right.
So as we kind of like wrap up here, what would you say to someone else who is maybe like skeptical about doing a program or doing this program, or maybe they're worried about like the investment part of it or the financial part? Like what would you say to someone else who was like asking you for advice of like, okay, is this actually worth doing? Or
I would say that you have to put yourself first. Like I said earlier, this was an investment in myself that is gonna continue, I'm gonna continue to return on. Um, like I said, I can't look at food the same as far as like picking what to eat. Like this is stuff that's ingrained in me now. And if you take those steps, first steps to kind of get started, like it'll help to change your life too.
yeah, I love that. So you also are now don't look so surprised. Uh you're starting like a building phase yourself, like on your own now. Like
Yeah.
tell everyone like what your like plans are then, I guess, for like the next part of the year and then even going into the beginning of the year. Like what's next for you now that the wedding is over, the fat loss phase is over for now. Like what's next on your agenda?
I'm gonna try and build up until like the newish year and then go back into another fat loss phase. So just gonna continue on in the gym and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I love that you're doing that like on your own, like going into a building phase. It shows that you're like really, really into this. If you're gonna like push yourself to, eat more food, maybe gain a little bit of, weight over these next few months in order to put on some more muscle. Um, like there's a saying that I think is funny. It's like that I told like another client at one point where it's like I don't know, what is that saying of Batman? It's like you die of you die a gym noob or you live long enough to find yourself become a gym
Oh
rat or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, something
Um
like
yeah, and
that.
I feel like you're becoming kind of a gym rat now, if not already. You're getting to that point.
I think so, yeah.
So that's always cool to see that evolution. So yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on here, Morgan, and kind of sharing your story and everything. And appreciate, just being like having the chance to work with you over these past 2 years. It's been awesome. And to be a part of like your engagement, almost like being able to hear about that,
Yeah.
being a part of like the whole process of getting ready for the wedding. It's been really cool. You and Chad are awesome. And
Oh,
um
thanks.
yeah, it's been great. So
It has,
any
thank you.
any last words that you have at all before we like wrap this up, or
Um, I don't think so,
no
no.
pressure?
Yeah, no pressure. No, I don't think so. If anyone ever has any questions, Joey is great at answering everything.
Maybe not everything, but I try. So cool. Well, thanks so much again. And for anyone listening, we will see you guys in the next one then.